Hey there guys, I'm Morgan Radford and it's time to get healthy. Did you know the average American eats or drinks 3,500 pounds of sugar in their lifetime? That's enough sugar to fill an entire industrial-sized dumpster. You can probably guess that's way too much. Okay, so let's talk about salt.
Salt is something called sodium chloride, right? And salt is in the body. It's a natural part of the body, and it's actually required for all of your cells to work in the body. But too much salt is a bad thing.
And guess what? People eat too much of that too. The average American eats or drinks more than 212 pounds of sodium every single year. That's the same as 14 bowling balls. Okay, so what's so wrong with salt and sugar? I mean, they taste good, right?
If you consume too much salt, you do put yourself at risk of things like high blood pressure, which is also called hypertension, heart disease, and you also increase your risk of diabetes and other diseases because salt and sugar kind of go hand in hand.
Overloading your body with salt and sugar can also cause obesity, tooth decay. It can make you tired and hungry all the time. And guys, having those health problems means you won't be able to do a lot of the things that you love. And don't get me wrong, eating small amounts of salt is just fine. In fact, all the cells in your body need that sodium to function. And small amounts of sugar, that can actually be good for you too. Fruit has natural sugar in it, and fruit is loaded with vitamins and minerals. It's only when you eat too much that it becomes an issue. I want to show you why so many Americans have health problems that could have been caused by too much sugar or too much salt. Take a look at this. This is 2.5 teaspoons of salt. Doctors say this is how much you can safely eat within a week. But also, look at this. This is 5 teaspoons. That's what the average American eats in a week, and that's twice the recommended amount. But this here is a cup of sugar. Doctors say this is how much you can safely eat within a week, and that includes all of your food and all of your drinks. But look at this. This is what the average American actually consumes within a week. This is about 3 pounds, all in just 1 week. So how do you not become someone who eats this amount? It's all about making good choices, and you're not too young to start.
When I grew up, I had to eat from the school as my main meals every day because we just didn't have a lot of food in our house. The school system tries really hard to make sure they're serving healthy meals, but a lot of it is about what you're choosing. Make sure that you balance out your tray each and every time.
A general rule is to make sure your tray has different colors on it. If you're picking food that's all one color, you're probably not making the healthiest choices. So here are some tips to help you live a healthier life without so much sugar and salt. Desserts, candy, and drinks with sugar in them should be a rare treat, not a daily habit.
Let's stay away from the sodas, right? Sodas are just not a kid food. Kids should be drinking water and milk, or milk and water, right? And then every once in a while, a natural fruit juice.
Don't add salt to your food. Chances are there's already some salt in it. And try to avoid too many processed foods. Those are foods you can take out of the freezer and put in the microwave. Those can be loaded with salt. Whenever possible, fresh is best. Also, cut down on salt and sugar because it's one way you can stay healthy your whole entire life. You won't be sorry that you did. Besides air, water, and food, do you know what your body must have to survive? That's sleep. If you don't get a good night's rest, all kinds of bad things can happen, and you can have trouble in class. You can be hungry all the time. You can even break out in pimples. No thanks. And if you go a really long time without sleep, well, let's just say you don't want to do that.
My name is Barry Kosofsky. If you go without sleep, you die. And in fact, you die from lack of sleep faster than you would from lack of food.
All right, that was enough to convince me. In fact, sleep is so important. There are doctors dedicated to helping you get more of it.
My name is Aviva Villar. You lose your patience. You lose your patience with your friends. You lose your patience with your teacher.
Your brain really needs sleep. In fact, when you're out like a light, your brain has switched on. It gets to work doing all kinds of things. It releases hormones that make you grow. That's right, if you don't sleep, you actually don't grow. It also cleans itself by washing out waste and locking in what you learn. A student, for example, who gets a full night's rest is much more likely to be able to pay attention in school and make better grades.
So this is the top part of the brain that's doing all the thinking and the memory, and the key event that occurs during sleep is memory consolidation, locking in the important things that happen during your day. So you can imagine if you do too much of the experiencing and not enough of the replenishing, you run out of gas.
So how much sleep do you actually need? Doctors say it depends on the person, but as a general rule, middle and high school students need about 8 to 10 hours per night. But studies say many kids are really only getting about 7 hours, and that's simply not enough. So what can you do to make sure you are getting enough sleep? We do have some tips. First, you can turn off those screens. The lights on your phone or on your computer, they tell your brain it's actually time to wake up. So make sure that all of your devices are tucked out of sight at least an hour before you put your head on that pillow.
Try to leave the hour before you go to bed for activities that you can do in dim light.
Try to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every night. Yes, that means weekends too, but it will actually help teach your brain when it's time to sleep. Caffeine, it wakes you up, so know what foods have it and try to avoid them. Did you know, for example, that some sodas have as much caffeine as coffee? Also, watch out for dark chocolate, energy drinks, and even coffee-flavored foods like frozen yogurt or ice cream. So what do you do if you follow all of these tips, but still just toss and turn when you get to bed? You could work with a doctor on giving your mind a reset.
Stressful things happen through the day. You had an interaction with your friend, or you had an exam you didn't do as much as you wanted to. And when you lie in bed, sometimes those thoughts come to your mind. And there are ways to learn how to throw away those unsettling thoughts and bring in thoughts that are more calming and relaxing.
Paying attention to your sleep will help you be the champion that you already are. In fact, your whole body will be happy that you did. Can you guess which one of your organs is the largest? Are you thinking your brain, maybe your lungs, your stomach? Nope, it's actually your skin. Think about it, it covers your entire body. That means it weighs 20 pounds on an average-sized adult. That's the same as a car tire. And you can't tell by looking at it, but your skin is always hard at work. It sheds parts of itself every single day, and that's enough to give you a whole new layer every single month.
I'm Dr. Gloria Wilder. I am President and CEO of Core Health and Wellness Centers, and I'm also Vice President of Innovation and Preventive Health for Centene Corporation. Skin, of course, covers the entire body, and the number one purpose that it serves is to protect us from the elements.
Your skin stops sun, cold, and nasty things in the environment from getting inside. And did you know it also helps keep your body from overheating? That's why it sweats. It can also warn your brain about certain dangers, like the heat it feels when your hand is too close to a stove, or the chill it sends to your brain if your hand is in ice for too long. But to do all of that protecting, your skin has to be much more than just what you see.
There are 3 layers of the skin, all right? The layer that you see on the outside is called the epidermis, and then right underneath it is the dermis. The dermis is the part of your skin that carries the blood supply, and then the innermost part of the skin is the subcutaneous tissue, right? Also known as your fat. And again, it's to protect you.
Your skin does so much to protect you. You have to do your share to protect it too. One of the most important things is keeping your skin from getting too much sun.
In summer times, we're all used to people saying, wear your sunscreen, wear your sunblock, right? But it's true. The sun has something called UV rays that can get to the skin and cause things like changes in the cells of that outer part of the skin.
Have you heard of melanin? It's a natural chemical in everybody's skin. It can be reddish yellow to a dark brown, depending on your skin's color. One of its jobs is to shield your body from sun damage. When that melanin gets overworked by too much sun, your skin actually makes more, and that causes your skin to change color, otherwise known as a sunburn. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, it can burn. And every single time you get a burn, you're hurting skin cells. That could lead to skin cancer, and no one wants that. But what about the winter? You need more protection when the weather turns cold.
It's important to wear layers of clothes to protect your skin. Frostbite is something that happens to the skin when you're outside for too long and the temperature's too cold. So remember, kids, to wear your gloves, right?
On extra cold days, Dr. Wilder says to wear mittens. They can keep your hands warmer than gloves with fingers. Skin can also get really dry in the winter.
It's important to use a moisturizer on your skin. And a moisturizer is a big old word for lotion. It doesn't have to be expensive, right? In fact, some of the least expensive products kind of work the best, right?
So here are some tips you can do to take care of your skin. Number one is to wear sunscreen. That means everyone and all year long. You need it in the winter as well as in the summer. And don't be fooled by an overcast day. You can still damage your skin that way. Also, wash your skin daily, especially your face. It will help wash away dead skin cells and germs, and not washing your face can lead to irritated skin and pimples. And be sure to drink a lot of water. Your skin cells are alive, and those cells need that water to stay alive. So do your skin a favor and take care of it, since it takes such good care of you. Did you know that people in the Middle Ages actually used to eat moose nose and spoiled milk because they thought it was good for them? Well, lucky for you and for me, we know a lot more about nutrition now. You probably hear that word nutrition often, and it just means eating a diet that's healthy for you. If this comes to mind when you hear that, don't even go there, because it's not that bad. In fact, lots of healthy foods also taste pretty good. But do you know which foods make up a good diet?
I'm Dr. Ken Yamaguchi. I am the Sam and Marilyn Fox Distinguished Professor of Orthopedic Surgery at Washington University School of Medicine, and I am the Executive Vice President and Chief Medical Officer for Centene Corporation. A healthy diet is a diet that gives you the necessary calories to do all your activities, not more calories than you need, and it has a good representation of the 5 major food groups.
5 major food groups. Do you know what they are?
Fruits and vegetables, proteins, fats, and grains.
So you know what fruits and veggies are. Eat more vegetables than any other food group. As for grains, you can find whole grains in many cereals and breads. Now, can you name some healthy proteins? If you thought of eggs, fish, you're on the right track, but there are also a lot more, like other meats, nuts, and milk. All things your school cafeteria probably offers.
I'm Dr. Gloria Wilder. I am President and CEO of Core Health and Wellness Centers, and I'm also Vice President of Innovation and Preventive Health for Centene Corporation, and everybody calls me Dr. G. Most of the stuff you eat should either come from your school, if you're eating the school lunch program or the school breakfast program, or it should come from your parents, right?
You actually do need some fat. Just make sure it's healthy fat from foods like avocado, cheese, and those eggs again, yogurt, and even dark chocolate. But be careful with that one.
A healthy diet also means not eating too much of what's unhealthy, which means trying to avoid things that are very high calorie and have a lot of simple sugars and a lot of salt.
That means limit the amount of that dark chocolate, the sugar you sprinkle on foods, and even those sugary drinks like fruit juice or soda. And fast food, that should really just be a rare treat, if you eat it at all.
Just remember that you don't want to become a chicken nugget and French fry kid. If all you eat is chicken nuggets and French fries, you're going to grow up looking like a chicken nugget and a French fry.
That's right. Good nutrition not only makes you feel better, it makes you look better. Your skin and your hair, it'll glow from all those vitamins that make their way into your system.
When you eat something, you first break it down in your mouth with your teeth, and you kind of break it down into smaller and smaller pieces. So when it goes into your stomach, it's bathed in acid, which gets rid of any bacteria that would be bad. And then it goes into your intestines. And at that point, there's a lot of things called enzymes that are released that help break down all this food into the small building blocks.
Those building blocks are the vitamins and the nutrients you need to stay alive. Your blood takes them and delivers them to the areas of your body where they're needed. It's actually a pretty involved process every single time you take a bite. So what can happen to your body if you have poor nutrition?
Let's talk about junk, right? You put yourself at risk of getting diabetes, right, or being overweight and not being able to do the stuff you really want to do. You may feel like you lose energy really quickly.
So here are just a few things to remember. If you start eating a healthy diet now, you're setting up a good habit that you can follow throughout your life.
Who wouldn't rather have more energy, feel better about themselves, be in a better mood, and look better?
Mix it up. You don't have to eat the same old fruits and veggies every single day. You can be adventurous and try some of the other vegetables your school cafeteria offers. And also, don't overeat. When you're eating a meal or a snack, when you get about halfway through, ask yourself whether you need to eat that second half. Making these small changes to your diet will help you live a longer, healthier life. You probably know that exercise is good for your body, but did you know it's also good for your mind? It can help your thinking and your memory skills, and it can also make you feel happier. It's good for every single part of your body, especially your muscles, your bones, your heart, and your lungs. When you're exercising, the average lungs can take in up to 100 liters of air a minute. Think the same as 100 of these bottles. That is a lot of oxygen, and for your muscles, it causes tiny tears in them. Does that sound kind of scary? Well, it's not. Your muscles grow bigger and stronger by healing those little tears. So when someone says you should exercise, is this what comes to mind? It doesn't have to be like that. Exercise can be a lot of fun.
I'm Cordelia Carter. I'm the director of the Pediatric Sports Medicine program here at NYU Langone and Hessenfeld Children's Hospital. Exercise can be really any time that you move your body. Kids who exercise or do physical activity, those kids do better in school.
You just have to put down the video game, get outside, and play to help your health.
I'm Dr. Ken Yamaguchi. I am the Sam and Marilyn Fox Distinguished Professor of Orthopedic Surgery at Washington University School of Medicine, and I am the Executive Vice President and Chief Medical Officer for Centene Corporation. A really important part of a healthy life is really just doing more activity than just your usual activities in order to increase and improve your health.
All you have to do is move enough to make your heart beat faster. How you get that exercise, it's up to you. That game of soccer you love playing with your friends, all that is exercise.
Try to do something that's fun, and they'll help you to do it more and more, because a child should be exercising or doing a little bit more activity than usual, a whole hour a day minimum. You might decide that you like going on runs by yourself rather than playing basketball with a team of people. That's all good if that's your thing to do.
All right, so you get the point. It's healthy to exercise, but why? What's going on inside your body when you're outside playing?
Generally, your muscles are working harder, and in order for your muscles to work harder and have the energy to work, they need to have more oxygen. In order for you to have more oxygen, your heart has to pump blood through your lungs. You have to breathe harder. So your heart tends to work harder, and because your heart works harder, it gets trained and gets stronger so that over time, it is a better organ for the rest of your life.
If you want all of those things to happen, you need to get into a routine of exercising. But how do you start? The good thing is you don't need a fancy gym.
In order to walk, you don't have to be on a treadmill. This is a fancy machine, but the nice thing is all you need to walk is your own 2 feet.
You can also use your own 2 arms, building your strength by doing a push-up.
Hands down, shoulder width apart, and you just look down and push down and push up.
Do you want to strengthen your entire midsection? Try planking.
Same thing, hands shoulder width apart, and you go up on your toes, and you can just hold it.
And if you want to build strength in your legs, all you need is a ball. Fun, right? So here are some tips to help you exercise 1 whole hour a day for your entire life. First, warm up before you start. A little stretching and slower movements in the beginning can help prevent injury. Also, go outside if you can. We get valuable vitamin D just from the sun. And find some things you love and stick with them. The more you do it, the easier it gets. You'll look better and you'll feel better. Did you know that teens spend an average of 6.5 hours on screens every single day? That's about as much time as you spend at school. But it's also not by accident. Tech features like app notifications, autoplay, and likes on social media, they're scientifically proven to make us want more screen time.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Hartstein. I'm a child, adolescent, and family psychologist. So screen time means anytime you are in front of a screen, meaning television, computer, smartphone, tablet, video console. Screen time is a necessity. You're doing your homework on screens. We're watching TV on screens. Sometimes it's the way we're spending time with other people. Screens can be amazing ways to connect us. The problem is how much time we're spending on screens.
Screen time impacts everyone's brains, but especially young, developing brains like yours, because it triggers something that's called dopamine. But what is that?
Dopamine is the feel-good hormone neurotransmitter in your brain, and then what happens is you want it more.
So things like eating a sweet treat, getting to the next level on a video game, and the buzz of a new text all light up the same region of your brain. That's called the reward center, and that's where it releases dopamine.
So I'm on my screen and I'm doing something I like and it triggers my dopamine, and then I start to get off and I maybe get another notification and it triggers another bit of dopamine, and I get on this dopamine loop where all I do is feel good, feel good, feel good. So when I'm not on my screens, I don't feel as good, which is why we are on screens more and more and more every day rather than less. It's like we crave more, so we do more.
Too much screen time, it can take you away from what's happening in the real world, and that can also have a negative effect on your mental and your physical health.
We're kind of always looking over here to see what's happening on our phone instead of paying attention in class or talking to our friend or watching a movie. We just can't be present, which is really doing a disservice to us and how we manage our lives.
So even the light from your phone screen, that can trick your brain, altering how you sleep.
The blue light of the phone stimulates your brain, making it much harder for you to get good, solid rest at night. It's important to shut the phone off about an hour before you go to bed so that you can really get the rest you need to be more productive the next day.
You probably spend more time than you realize on screens, but there are apps and settings on your phone that can track your screen time and help you set limits for yourself and stick to them.
So on the iPhone, built into the operating system, there's a screen time option, which shows you how many minutes a day you're on your phone and breaks it down into what apps you've been using. And here it tells me that today I've been on my phone an hour and 26 minutes. And if I click on that, it actually tells me how my time has been spent today. So I've been on messages for 25 minutes and Facebook for 14 minutes and mail for 10 minutes. And it breaks down for me where I've spent my time.
All right, so here are a few other easy ways to find a healthy balance with screen time. Avoid multitasking on screens, especially when you're doing your homework. Just sit down and focus on what you're doing and what's in front of you. Don't check your phone and you'll get your work done faster and your brain will thank you later. Also, pay attention to what you're actually doing on those screens. Are you sitting there and picking up your phone and mindlessly scrolling? Or do you have a real sense of purpose? If you try to balance the time you spend on screens with the time you spend off of them, you'll actually make the most of your time in both cases, and you'll feel better. When you think of health, you probably think about things like your strength, your fitness, and maybe even what you eat. But it also means having a healthy mind. Did you know it's completely normal to feel sad or to feel nervous? Sometimes I do. But the thing is, if that feeling doesn't go away and it actually starts interfering with your schoolwork or your daily activities, just know you're not alone. Each year, 1 in 5 kids will need some type of help with these kinds of feelings. And you know what else? These kinds of feelings can get better with the right kind of help.
My name is Dr. Alexandra Hamlet. I am a psychologist at the Child Mind Institute. I help kids with their problems, their big feelings, their thoughts, and how they interact with life. We want to treat our brains well, and mental health is really the act of doing that. Just like any physical illness, right? You can have a sneeze or a cough, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're sick. And sometimes you can get a cold or the flu. It's the same thing with mental health.
If you often feel overwhelmed by your schoolwork or your personal life, it could be a sign that you should talk to someone. If you find that you want to be alone a lot of the time, or you don't want to talk to your friends, or you really don't want to do things that you used to find fun, that's also another sign.
They might change the way that they eat and sleep, either sleep too little, sleep too much, or maybe eat a lot or not enough, right? And these are all some markers that someone might be struggling with mental health issues.
So what do you do if you're feeling this way? You find someone and you tell them. It could be your parent, it could be another kind adult, like a teacher, a coach, a neighbor, really anyone you trust. Just go up and ask for help.
Just know that there's a lot of people are out there that kind of get it, and they're really open to helping, and once you really start that process and peel that Band-Aid off, you'll start to feel better about it.
So what can you do to keep your mind healthy? Doctors say that one thing that can help keep your mind healthy is to not compare yourself to others. And that can sometimes be hard. For example, the pictures that some people post on social media, those people may not be as perfect or even as fun as their pictures make them seem. Sometimes we can feel left out when we're not part of those pictures or part of those activities.
They're seeing other people having a great time and they don't feel as involved. That could be when it gets a little tricky.
All right, so here are some other things you can do to take care of your mental health. Be sure to eat and sleep well, because lack of sleep and nutritious food, that can make anyone feel bad. And don't be embarrassed if you're struggling. And if you want to be a good friend, you can look out for your friend's mental health as well. If they suddenly seem very different, they're not acting like they usually do, or they're not as involved, or they're harder to be around, they may be someone who needs some help.
I think you can talk to the friend and let them know that you're really concerned and that you really would like to reach out on their behalf to get them help.
Once again, go to an adult you can trust. And just like with other illnesses, doctors can help too. Talk about your feelings with people who you care about. Bad feelings, they just keep growing inside until you let them escape by talking them out. Your mind and your body will be happy that you did. How many germs do you think are on your body right now? 50? 100? Maybe 1,000? Well, guess what? It's way more. It's actually in the millions. There are more germs on your body right at this minute than there are people in the entire United States. And not all of these germs are actually bad for you, but a lot of them are better kept off of your body. And the way you do that is through good hygiene.
Hi, my name is Jessica Butts. I teach health in the middle school in Croton-on-Hudson, New York. Hygiene is the practice of cleanliness in order to prevent disease. We do have natural bacteria that grow on our skin, but we need to take away any of the bacteria or the dirt that might be getting on our skin by touching surfaces.
All right, so if certain bacteria, viruses, or other germs get into our bodies, they settle into your cells and then they start multiplying. Your immune system goes to work to get rid of them, but if those germs cause damage to your cells, you can actually get sick. And if they damage your cells in your nose, for example, you can get a cold. If they damage cells in your intestines, you could be sick to your stomach. Some even attack your entire body and cause really serious illnesses. These germs can live on all kinds of surfaces, so that's why you have to be careful.
We're gonna see what's growing on all of our hands. I'm gonna swab it, then I'm gonna go ahead and rub it into this Petri dish here.
We tested for germs on hands, a phone, a game controller, a computer mouse, a television remote, and a doorknob. We let the germs grow in a Petri dish for a week. The results? Just look. The germs we found on their hands, they can cause all kinds of illnesses, from skin and ear infections to stomach problems and even worse. Those same germs found on their hands were also found on the doorknob and on the computer mouse. That's really how germs travel. The phone and the game controller, they actually weren't as bad as we thought they'd be, but take a look at the television remote control. Some of these nasty growths can make you really ill. So how can you practice good personal hygiene? One of the best things you can do is really simple. Just wash your hands. Doctors think up to 1 million lives could be saved every single year if everyone simply washed their hands.
You should start with warm water, get your hands a little bit wet first, and then use soap. Make sure you're washing between your fingers. Trying to even get any dirt or germs from under your fingernails is really important as well, and either air dry or towel dry.
To wash your hands long enough to kill germs, you should lather for about 15 to 20 seconds.
If it helps you to kind of time it out, singing happy birthday to yourself would be a great kind of timeline to follow for the process of washing your hands.
Your hands aren't the only places where those germs are hiding.
We also have to wash our whole body, from the top of our head down to our toes. Our hair on our head, the hair on our eyebrows and our face, the fine hair all over our body traps certain germs. So if we wash that away on a daily basis or every other day, we're lowering the chances that we're going to get infected with a germ.
And when you do get sick, there are also things you can do to keep from spreading your germs to other people. One sneeze can send 100,000 germs into the air. So how do you keep from spreading your germs? Just lift your arm like a vampire lifts its cape and then sneeze straight into your elbow.
If somebody doesn't cover their cough or sneeze into their elbow, then they're risking what we call a germ transfer.
So here are some quick things to remember about staying clean and preventing the spread of disease. Number 1, wash those hands. You also need to bathe every day or at least every other day to keep germs off of your body. Besides making you sick, those germs can also make you smell, and who wants that? And also, don't forget to brush your teeth. Germs can build up in your mouth, and that can cause everything from bad breath to missing teeth. And those are just 3 ways that you can get healthy and you can stay healthy. Did you know that your body is made up of about 60% water? That's a whole lot of water, and it's really up to you to keep it inside your body, but you're constantly losing it. See, every time that you sweat, you digest your food, or even breathe, you're really losing water, so you have to replace it. But many studies show that kids aren't drinking enough water. So what's up with that? Because you have to have it.
I'm Dr. John Torres, an emergency physician and the NBC medical correspondent. Hydration means that you're getting fluid into your body. The majority of what we have inside of us is water, and we need that water in order to survive. You have to get that from external sources, meaning you have to drink it.
All right, so to keep your body hydrated, we're not telling you have to go crazy and down one of these each morning. In fact, some of the foods you eat, like fruits and vegetables, they can help you stay hydrated, but your body must have water.
Once you drink it, it goes into your intestine, goes into your guts, and from there it goes into the body, into all the cells. Once it gets done with the cells, it goes through our bloodstream and gets filtered out through our kidneys.
So exactly how much do you need? Just remember the number 8.
9 years old and above need 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. This is an 8-ounce glass. It's a very normal amount of water.
So does that seem like a lot? Just pace it out throughout the day. But if you skip it, you could end up causing a lot of problems for your body.
Every cell in your body uses water to function. If it can't get that water, that cell is going to start shrinking. It's not going to work as well. And this includes your brain cells. So what's going to happen is you're going to start getting confused. You're going to start getting a headache. Your muscles aren't going to work as well. You might even start cramping up a little bit. As you get more dehydrated, that's going to get worse and worse. If you get too dehydrated, you can get in a world of hurt.
All right, so you don't want that. And don't think that you need less in the winter when you aren't sweating as much, because you still need to remember 8 to keep all those cells functioning. So here's the tricky part. How can you be sure you're really getting enough water? Here are some tricks you'll be able to remember.
The worst way to know if you're dehydrated is to wait until you're thirsty, because by then you're already dehydrated. One of the things you can do as you're walking around is just pinch the skin on the back of your hand. If when you pinch it and let go, it goes flat, then you're fine. That means you're perfectly hydrated.
All right, well, it looks like I'm doing pretty well. How about you? There's something else that you can do, and it's actually the most reliable. Just listen to this.
Look at your pee next time you go to the bathroom. If it's really dark, and I'll give you some examples here, that means you're dehydrated. So the pee gets darker because it's more concentrated, and that means that you need more fluids. If it's kind of middle of the road, that means you're doing okay. You might want to push a little bit more fluids, drink another glass or 2 to make sure that you get it down to the point where it's this light yellow. And that's what you want, because that means you're perfectly hydrated. You're right exactly where you need to be.
Don't worry, that was just apple juice, but you get the point. So here are just a few things to remember to make hydration easier. Pack a water bottle and just put it in your backpack in case you don't have a water fountain nearby. And you may love those sugary drinks like soda, but drinking that much sugar a day could actually cause you other health problems. And nothing beats plain old water to make you feel your best. You also need to drink more when you're outside in the heat. If you're exercising or you're playing sports, make sure you drink that water. Your body and your mind will thank you for it. You might think that being healthy is really just about focusing on you, your body, your mind, but in order to really be completely healthy, you actually need to also think about who you spend time with, like your relationships. Did you know that at your age, your brain is literally rewiring all the time? It's helping you to figure out who you are and making you more independent, really pulling you more towards friends who share your interests and your goals. It also allows you to become less dependent on your parents. So who are your friends? And the quality of those relationships, it's all really, really important, because research shows that having just one close friend in your teen years could benefit you for your entire life.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Hartstein. I'm a child, adolescent, and family psychologist. So friendships are really good stepping stones for all of us. We are social beings at heart. So friendships teach us give and take, understanding, empathy, sympathy, all of those important life lessons that help build us to have a romantic relationship, to be a parent, to all of those pieces kind of come out of building positive relationships with others.
So how do you know if you have healthy relationships? A healthy relationship is supportive, it's respectful, and it also has really open communication. And that actually keeps us healthy. It benefits our physical, our mental, and our emotional health.
Having good friendships can impact your physical health because maybe you do things with them so you get out and you're active. But we also know that when we're feeling more depressed or feeling more anxious, it does impact how our stomach feels, or if we have headaches, or how we're taking care of ourselves. So friendships can help bolster our emotional health, which we know plays off of our physical health, and both things improve.
But healthy relationships, they don't just happen. You have to feed them so they can grow and they can thrive.
I think the first place that starts is with you. What is it that you want from a friend? Do you want someone to have fun with? Do you want someone who's gonna hold all your secrets? Do you want someone who has similar interests? So figure out what makes you a good friend. What do you offer to your friends? And then see if you can find people that complement that.
And there are some signs of unhealthy relationships.
All of the gossiping behind one another's back, or intentionally leaving out a friend, quote unquote, or not being able to communicate with your family about things that are upsetting you, or feeling like if you do let somebody know how you're feeling, they're gonna be angry. Those are all signs of things that aren't quite going so well.
There are ways you can strengthen your relationships, like trying to make your friends feel good.
Ask someone how they're doing, check in with them, invite them over, invite them to go out, invite them to do something with you. Remember a birthday. Stop and think about what would make you feel good that your friends remember to do for you, and start to do that for other people.
So here are some things to keep in mind so that you can have healthy relationships right now and throughout your entire life. Just be yourself. Good friends value you for who you are, because nobody else can be you. And don't be afraid to speak your mind. Friendships, they aren't always perfect, but you can talk about your problems. Ask what your friends need and tell them what you need. And if you don't know what to do, just ask for help from a trusted adult. And remember, it's quality over quantity. Find your people, a few great friends who mean a lot to you, and that'll benefit you for the rest of your life.